All right, so today we have Stan from the Frisch Law Group, based in LA, the Woodland Hills, and they specialize in personal injuries. And we're going to have a short interview today to learn a little bit more about Frisch Law and what they do, and hopefully get some information and value in case you ever come across any sort of injury or know someone that came across an instance like that and need any legal advice. So, Stan, nice to have you. Um, Tell me first a little bit about the history and the founding of the Frisch Law Group.
Thank you for having me. The firm was opened in 2009 by my partner and my cousin, Van Frisch. He started the firm. I came along working in the front desk before I was ever an attorney. And then I went off to law school. 3 years later, I joined the firm again in 2012. And we've grown the firm since then to 4 attorneys and a large support staff that helps us, gather records, file claims, obtain medical records, police reports, writing settlement demands. We have a big growing team that we've been developing now since 2009.
Wow, that's over 15 years now.
Yeah.
Quite impressive. Yeah, that's quite a track record. And what would you say is the core value that drives your firm? Like, what makes you different?
So we have a core values in the office that we discuss with the team, and our core values are integrity, right? Everything we do is with integrity, whether it's speaking to clients, speaking to opposing lawyers, judges, anybody in the community. Another core value is ownership. Everything that we do, we take ownership of. We put in 100% effort. Our goal is to become experts in whatever task we're handling. Another core value is having respect for ourselves and for others, right? We want to take care of ourselves in order for us to be able to help others, either in the firm or help our clients. But we also have to have respect for others. We may get frustrated sometimes where the insurance company isn't doing what we're asking or not paying what we're asking, or opposing lawyer. But if we need to, then we file a lawsuit, and we do it within the confines of the rules, and at all times making sure that we're respecting everybody involved, including our team, clients, opposing parties, lawyers, insurance companies, really everybody. Another one of our core values is we're giving and generous, right? People call me for advice all the time. Typically, it's in the personal injury world, but I get people that call me on regarding divorces, if they call me on criminal matters. I always try to take the time to speak to them and give them some advice, or refer them to somebody who can give them, advice in that field of law. And spending time with our clients, learning their stories, fighting for them. And so giving back to the community is important to us, to make sure that we're not just consumers here at the firm. We want to make sure that our community grows, and that's our client community, our family community, our employee community, really everybody involved. Another core value is we're lifelong students and teachers. So we constantly attend seminars and webinars. I'm meeting with our team, our staff, teaching them about new areas of law, or developing their skills in whatever role that they're in. So we spend a lot of time learning and teaching one another. Another core value is diligence, right? It's very important, especially in a law office, to be diligent. Cross your T's, dot your I's, conduct thorough research before you give an answer. And if you don't know, we should find out. Another core value is we're humble and hungry, right? So we know that we don't know everything. The law is changing. We've got to work hard. We've got to work hard to educate ourselves and stay hungry. We're always on our toes. We always want to take care of every single client. And we appreciate that our former clients so frequently refer new clients to us. So we stay hungry by taking care of every single client. And then the other last two core values are persistence and creativity. We're very persistent. Sometimes, somebody doesn't want to give us the information that we need in order
Hmm.
to fight for a client. So we may have to file that lawsuit, take that deposition, conduct that investigation, hire the investigator, the private investigator to get the information we need. And we're creative. We look for ways to solve problems that many other firms might not think about.
Well, that's quite a lot, and I could definitely attest to the fact that you are very generous and that you like to help, and you helped me out a couple of times in other instances, and referred me to really nice and very professional attorneys in other fields. Um, one of the main things that, if I was looking for a law firm, an attorney to represent me or help me with a personal injury case, there's so many in LA. What would you say stands out? Like, what makes you guys different? And I guess even more importantly, if I am from a consumer standpoint, what would you say should be my process on how I make that decision?
Sure. In Los Angeles, we have a lot of billboard lawyers. The billboard lawyers really, they spend a lot of money on advertising. Um, they don't handle typically the cases from beginning to end. They'll associate in another firm if it's a more complicated matter. And so in our firm, I handle cases from the beginning, from the car crash or the dog bite or the slip and fall, all the way through trial. And so in our firm, you have a growing team, but I'm involved in every single case. Whereas if you have the billboard lawyers, you'll probably never speak to, the one who runs the firm. So we get back to clients within 24 hours. That's one of our biggest rules, either
Hmm.
same day or within 24 hours. Our clients remain updated throughout the case. And if you look at our reviews on Google, you'll see all of our happy clients. And additionally, we handle various areas of law. We don't just do personal injury. We have a team of lawyers that handle everything from real estate to landlord tenant to business cases. And we pull in those experiences and that knowledge into our personal injury cases as well. So when somebody's looking for a personal injury lawyer, you should think about whether the person who's on the other line is taking the time to learn about your case, learn about your injuries, and how responsive are they? Is their team getting back to you in a timely manner? Are you kept up to date on the status of your case? And really, that's the sign of a good personal injury firm.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys have more of a personal touch. I'd say even maybe a boutique rather than a factory. That
Yeah,
makes a whole difference. Yeah, you actually
a-
know who you're working with.
absolutely. And in our firm, the you know almost all of our cases are referred by former clients. So we want to make sure and do an incredible job for every single client so that they can tell their friends and their family to call us whenever they need an injury lawyer as well.
Great, great, awesome. That's so with specifically with personal injury, it's such a broad term, and there's so many various types of cases that come along under that broad term of personal injury. Can you give us a little bit of what that could look like? I mean, it could be anything from, I know like the most common is like a slip and fall, and maybe any kind of like car accident. But what more falls under that category, I guess, of personal injury?
Yeah, good question. So a lot of cases are automobile related, right? So it's going to be a car, uh, truck, motorcycle, bicycle, scooter, those types of crashes. Then you have your slip and trip and fall cases. So somebody might have fallen down the stairs or they tripped on something that was left in their walkway or pathway. I handle a lot of sidewalk cases as well. So if you look around, especially in Los Angeles, the sidewalks are in pretty bad shape. There are uplifts, there are drop-offs, there are cracks, and people trip and fall on those. Frequently, the city has either known about that or should have known about it, failed to remedy it, and people are suffering injuries. So we file lawsuits against the city and the adjacent property owners who are responsible for maintaining those areas. Also, bicycle crashes where bicyclists strike potholes, and the potholes are not being properly maintained. So we have many cases against cities and counties. Also, Uber and Lyft cases and other rideshare cases where somebody is a passenger or even a driver and is injured. So we pursue those cases against all rideshare companies. So really a lot of different types of personal injuries. Another one are burn cases. So for example, your water heater in your home should be properly set to the right temperature. And if a person moves into an apartment building and the water heater was set too high, they might not be aware. And a child, somebody who's elderly especially, could suffer second and third degree burns. So we've handled cases like that as well. And also dog bite cases. Many dog bite cases that we handle in the firm. If a dog bites you, if you're in public or in private setting at your home or visiting somebody's home, you're entitled to compensation for the medical bills, your pain, suffering, inconvenience, and other emotional harm.
Well, definitely a lot of different variations to this. The Uber and Lyft thing, I'm sure that happens quite a lot. Probably also on the electric scooters that people rent out. I don't know, maybe like you guys have like Bird or other firms that have those scooters. But one of the other things that I'd like to know is what are like some of the like a bigger case that that you can kind of like tell us a little bit about that you've recently taken care of.
Sure. We recently represented a family whose daughter and, well, let me rephrase a little bit.
Yeah.
We represented a woman whose husband and daughter, unfortunately, were electrocuted to death by a power line.
Wow.
The electric poles have a lifespan, and these were, they exceeded the lifespan. And the Department of Water and Power did a poor job of inspecting these poles. So they had been rotted. One day a rainstorm came, the power lines went down, and these two individuals, unfortunately, came into contact with them and passed away. So that was a case that we settled for $38 million. And additionally, and maybe even more importantly, the DWP came up with a process for inspecting the power poles and started replacing them so that no other person and no other family would have to deal with it.
Wow.
So that's one of our recent cases. Another case I handled recently is a woman was crossing the street and a driver made a left turn, did not see her, struck her knee, and fractured her knee. And she had surgery. She's a very nice lady, 70 years old. And there was a fight with the insurance company over the seriousness of her injuries and how her life has been affected. So we filed a lawsuit in that case as well. They took her deposition and she did a wonderful job of describing how her life is affected. And that case resolved for $1.2 million.
Wow. Wow. And do you do any sort of like traveling if necessary, or are you just strictly sticking to LA and nothing outside those limits?
No, we travel. We handle cases all throughout California. So the case I just mentioned is a San Francisco case. I flew out to San Francisco to meet with the client. I'm licensed in Illinois as well, so I handle cases there. So there's times when I fly to Illinois to handle cases. So really, with today's technology, a lot of depositions are done via Zoom. Meetings
Mm,
are frequently over Zoom or on FaceTime. And hearings, we're happy to hop on a plane, attend an in-person hearing if necessary. So we handle cases really everywhere.
awesome, awesome. So aside from personal injury, you guys deal also with other stuff. Like there's other types of cases that you work with, and you mentioned before that you guys have expertise in other fields. In terms of business law, I know that that's one of the strongest fields that you guys are involved in. What would you say are, the types of businesses that you typically deal with?
Yeah, really, we can handle cases involving any businesses, right? If there could be a contract dispute, a real estate dispute. We handle a lot of landlord tenant cases on behalf of landlords and commercial landlords. Uh, we handle really any kinds of contract disputes between parties, and anybody who's signed a contract, one of the parties is not abiding by the contract. Something has not been delivered, something's been delivered late. So any kinds of business disputes we can typically handle in our firm.
Okay. And as far as like, what would you say in if you had to like break it down, your process? So I come to you, I reach out to you because I had an injury similar to that lady that you just described. From start to finish, like how would you break down that process until you actually close this case?
So it starts with a free consultation. We never charge our clients for the consultation. We learn about how the incident happened. We learn about the injuries, and we typically send an agreement, documents electronically that the client can sign on their phone or on their computer. Once we gather all the information, we send letters to the insurance companies, letting them know that we represent the client so that they communicate with only us and the client can focus on just their recovery. We help with getting, if it's a car crash, getting the car repaired or paid for. There's no fee for that. All of our cases are on contingency, so we get paid a percentage of what we recover regarding the injury portion, but we never get paid on the property damage. So we help clients get their car paid for, and then we have a team in our office that helps coordinate medical treatment, gather medical records, obtain police reports, notify Medicare or Medi-Cal that there was a case, and a case manager and myself oversee the file, make sure that the client is undergoing treatment. We assist with finding doctors where necessary. The doctors will treat our clients on a lien, which means that the clients never pay for their medical treatment when we refer them to a doctor. The doctor is going to get paid later out of the settlement. And so while the client is undergoing treatment, we're monitoring that treatment, making sure they're getting the right treatment, making sure that the doctors are getting back to our clients if they have questions. Once the client is done with all of their medical care, we'll gather the medical records and draft what we call a settlement demand, submit the settlement demand to the insurance company, and demand that they pay the policy limits. And the policy limits are the maximum amount. If the insurance company refuses to pay the maximum amount, or we determine that the offer is not a fair offer, then we recommend that the client allows us to file a lawsuit on their behalf. And then we draft those documents and file the lawsuit and go through the litigation process until the client is paid fairly. And if the insurance company still doesn't want to settle the case, then we'll go to trial. And if a case gets settled without a lawsuit, then we negotiate with the doctors and the medical providers to reduce their bills. And our goal is to always leave the client with as much money as possible.
That is extremely thorough. Sounds a lot more involved than you would think of when you think about it first. While doing all of this, which is quite a lot, how do you make sure to stay in really good, clear communication with your client?
So number one, I get CC'd on every single email in the office. So I know what's going on in every single file. We have a case manager that's assigned to every single client, and the case manager has a team that works with them to make sure that the file is moving forward as well. And we have a rule that every single client gets a call back within 24 hours, if not sooner. And if the client prefers us to call, to text, to email, then we're going to accommodate the client. Everyone is different and they have a different communication style. So we make sure that every client is updated. And also we maintain very clear notes in every single file. So if I need to go into a file and see what's happening and what was done today or what was done yesterday, I'll be able to read the notes and know exactly what's happening to make sure that every single case is moving along so that the client can get the maximum compensation.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. And you've mentioned briefly some of your team, and I'd like to know a little bit more about them and their expertise, and how they're involved in the process, and what their strengths are.
Yeah. So I'm the personal injury attorney in the firm, and I'm the managing partner of the firm. So I handle cases from beginning all the way through trial with my partner. Van Friesh, he's my partner and my cousin. He handles primarily our litigated cases. So whether they're real estate, personal injury, or business cases, he'll handle them. He has dozens of jury trials under his belt and also bench trials. So he's our litigator. Matt Ames, he's an excellent attorney with experience in civil rights cases, real estate, personal injury, employment, and he's handled cases on behalf of Fortune 500 companies. And we have another attorney, Mark, in our office, very experienced in personal injury matters, real estate, landlord-tenant, commercial lease, land use issues, intellectual property. So vast experience, and he's working primarily directly with our personal injury department to litigate cases, take depositions, attend hearings, and do everything that we need to do to get clients fairly compensated.
And this whole team that you have, which seems like they've got expertise in several different fields. How are they able to keep updated with all the different latest updates and developments in every industry? There's probably so much happening all the time.
Absolutely. The law is constantly changing. There are new cases that come out. So we have access to databases, and we attend conferences and to stay up to date on all of the new laws and also the new technology, right? There's AI is becoming more and more prevalent. There are programs and software that help us work faster, more efficiently. So we're constantly staying up to date on everything that's happening in the world so that we can continue to fight for our clients and get them compensated fairly.
Right on, right on. And I just want to ask, I know I've asked this earlier in this conversation, but I asked you earlier, how would you, from a consumer standpoint, how would you choose an attorney? What would you say would be the red flags that you should pay attention to, and know that you should actually not engage or walk away and look for something else? What's a red flag?
So one red flag is somebody with poor reviews, right? You should always look up your lawyer online. And if you see a lot of 1-star reviews, they've got 1.5 out of 5 stars, 2.5, 3 out of 5 stars, that there's something wrong with that firm. Either they're not getting back to clients or they're just doing a poor job. The other red flag is if a lawyer or anybody in the firm overpromises, right? If you call me and day one, I say, I'm going to get you X dollars on your case, I guarantee it. That can't be true because, a lawyer can't know what the policy limits are. They might not fully know what the injuries are. So anybody who makes those types of promises, they're just trying to get you to sign up. A good lawyer tells you what their process is, what they're going to do for you and how they're going to do it, and tell you that they're going to fight for you. And if they need to file that lawsuit, then they're going to file that lawsuit. So really, somebody who doesn't overpromise and under-deliver, I think, is a sign of a good lawyer.
Well, I mean, I think you've shared a lot of very valuable information. Obviously, no one wants to ever need to get into this situation where they need a personal injury attorney. But, you know, life, you know, throws all kinds of different curveballs at you. And when something like this, God forbid, does happen, you want to know that you have someone that's really going to stick by your side, be thorough, which quite impressive, I got to say, and have an entire team with so much expertise to handle that case from start to finish. Would, you know, at the very least, that'll give you some peace of mind. Stan, thank you so much for taking the time to answer all these questions. I think we should probably do this again because there's so much more to cover. And we'll stay in touch. Thank you so much again.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Okay, I'm going to call you right back.